Get what you really want with the all-new Ford Everest Active 4x4. Value-packed with 12-inch touchscreen, black exterior styling and 18-inch alloys. All from just 60k drive away. Get the Everest Active at participating Ford dealers. Get what you really want with the all-new Ford Ranger Wolf Track V6, featuring bold styling, 17-inch alloys and all-terrain tyres, all from just 73k drive away. Ranger Wolf Track at participating Ford dealers while stocks last.
Hey everyone, I'm Tommy Neil Thorne. Tune in this weekend as the rollers take on the world.
Get what you really want with the value-packed Ford Ranger Black Edition 4x4 with bedliner, 12-inch touchscreen, 17-inch alloys and all-terrain tyres. All from just 53k drive away. Get the Ranger Black Edition at participating Ford dealers.
What's up everyone, Channel Brown here. I'm currently over in Turkey for the 25-26 Turkish League. I'm excited to get back and kick off this new era of wheelchair basketball with you all. The 2026 season is going to be something special. Make sure you're following along here for updates while I'm overseas.
Get what you really want with the all-new Ford Everest Active 4x4. Value packed with 12-inch touchscreen, black exterior styling and 18-inch alloys. All from just 60k drive away. Get the Everest Active at participating Ford dealers.
Wheelchair basketball emerged shortly after World War II after it was developed by injured servicemen. It became a foundation Paralympic sport at the 1960 Games and is now one of the world's most recognisable wheelchair sports. Athletes who play wheelchair basketball have a physical impairment. All players use a wheelchair to compete, although some don't use a wheelchair in everyday life. The court dimensions and basket height for wheelchair basketball are the same as the able-bodied version of the sport, as is the playing time and number of players on court. Wheelchair basketball classifications range between 1 and 4.5 points. Players with a classification of 1.0 have the highest level of impairment, while players in the 4.5 point class have the highest level of physical function to be eligible for the sport. The wheelchairs used during a game are specially designed to support players and help them move around the court. During a match, the classifications of the 5 players on the court are added together and must reach a total of no more than 14 points. The object of the game is to score the most points in the opposing team's basket. The team with the most points by the time the clock expires wins. Wheelchair basketball is a contact sport. The sport is so fast that it can be difficult for athletes to stop in time, meaning contact is inevitable and can result in some spectacular collisions. While contact is permitted and even encouraged, head-on collisions are strictly forbidden and can result in fouls or even ejection from the game. For more information on wheelchair basketball, visit paralympic.org.au.
Get what you really want with the new look Ford Ranger Wild Track. With its power roller shutter, stunning matrix LEDs and premium B&O 10-speaker sound system. And you'll also get a 4K fuel card. That's 4K to take you on even bigger adventures. Available at your participating Ford dealer now.
Welcome to the Australian Institute of Sports Centre of Excellence here in Canberra. It's a chilly Saturday morning. We're here for day 2 of the Rollers Against the World Challenge, a fantastic 5-day series featuring 4 of the preeminent forces in men's wheelchair basketball around the world. This morning we'll see Spain take on the host Australian Rollers. But both these teams played 2 games yesterday, the Australians eking out 2 narrow wins over Italy and Japan. Well, for Spain it was a win over Italy, but then they suffered their first loss as a team for a while to Japan in quite a tactical affair, 52-50. My name's Brendan Parnell. I'm joined by Campbell Fraser this morning, a man who knows much more about the intricacies of the sport of wheelchair basketball, having played and now being involved in a coaching pathway role. Campbell, a clash of styles this morning.
Yeah, definitely. I think this is going to be a really interesting test for the Rollers. They in the past even years they've come up against Spain a few times in various formats, and Spain have always been a difficult opponent for the Rollers. That pressure that they put on, the speed and agility and aggression that Spain like to play with, just tends to get under the skin of the Rollers a little bit. But we do know that this time they're running more of a fluid squad on the side of the Rollers. They're running a lot faster and also a lot younger. So potentially this is their chance to kind of figure out what their style that they want to play against Spain is, kind of establish themselves more comfortably in that position.
As we see the Australian lineup on your screen, a large squad, understandably, because they're the host nation. They have 16 players as part of this training camp / squad, with a view to eventually selecting a team to compete at the World Championships in Ottawa. Our officials today: Kathy Hay, Adam McIntyre, Blaine Kraplanov. Here in the foreground, just discussing their pre-game preparation. As we look at the screen, it's Spain in the white uniforms with the faint gold numbers on the left, and Australia wearing their traditional green with the gold trim on the right. Both coaches we've already seen in their first 2 games, have been happy to wander through their rosters, vary their starting lineups, and we've seen a little more of that today from both teams. For Spain, it'll be Zarzuela, Onrubia, Ortega, Prieto, and Kristen. While for the Australian men, a different starting lineup again. 2 familiar pieces that have started each game, Tristan Knowles and Tom O'Neill-Thorne. But around them it'll be Frank Pinder, Jake Kavanagh, and Kane Downey. Anything particular in that starting lineup, Campbell? I know we've seen Tom O'Neill-Thorne come out in the first 2 games just raining 3-pointers. He's managed to knock his first 2 shots down in both of the previous games. Anything else, given that lineup construction with Kavanagh, Downey, and Pinder around the 2 senior guards?
Yeah, so the one that I'm really looking forward to and looking to get a lot of value out of this week is Kane Downey. He's one of the juniors that came through the Australian program and was very, very important in their under-23s run previously this year. He will be very important in this space, and he's kind of stepping into the Rollers squad. Obviously, we know there's a few players that would tend to be in the Rollers squad who aren't here for various reasons, and that really gives him an opportunity to establish why he deserves a position. And I think that's exactly what he's hoping to do. We haven't seen him be as influential as I would be hoping in the past couple games, so hopefully as a starter, this can be his position. He's a midpoint player, but he's very, very tall. You'll notice very quickly he's very tall and very long arms. So he has a lot of value if he can kind of find his position and lift to the standard that the Spanish set.
We mentioned both these teams already qualified for the World Championships in September to be held in Ottawa, Canada. Spain did that by cutting a swathe through the European Championships, going unbeaten until the grand final, where they also won, beating Great Britain. Australia won the equivalent regional championship, the Asia Oceania Championship, beating Japan narrowly in that grand final. That was held in Bangkok in Thailand back in November 2025. You see the Australians on the floor, greeting the Spanish coach.
And one thing you'll notice as we get into this game, and hopefully if the Rollers can put a little bit of pressure on, the Spanish coach and the Spanish bench, they like to get loud. It's a very fun thing to watch. They get very animated. I've said this a couple times. I'm convinced that the Spanish coach is going to lose his voice by the end of these 16 games that they have to play. But it just brings the atmosphere, and especially in a camp like this where really they're not playing for a trophy. There's nothing. It's more fun and enjoyable. You get to see the players get animated.
And that coach, of course, is Abraham Carrion. He's standing in the shorts, getting as close to the action as he can without being on the floor. But we're underway. First possession for Spain on Rubia with the ball. Bit of a heat check there. He can't get it to go, but Ortega with the offensive rebound and the putback. Tom O'Neill-Thorne bringing the ball up for Australia, directing traffic. Ball screen, a handoff to Tristan Knowles. He gets the same screen. Ball finds its way to Kavanagh on the roll, he can't finish. Lane off and moving. Slightly clumsy challenge, or maybe a clever positioning of chair by Ortega to draw that foul.
Yeah, I think that actually it looked messy from Jay Kavanagh, but actually Ortega being very smart to know that the defense was coming up behind him and just wiggle a little bit with that chair and force that contact through.
Ortega drives baseline on Rubia. As you can tell from the clap of the hands there, realised he wasn't quite set on that screen. He's been whistled for an offensive foul. Australia gets another chance to get their scoring underway. O'Neill-Thorne drifts across, same handoff to Knowles. Same screen from Kavanagh. No roll this time. Kicks it back across the floor to O'Neill-Thorne. Spanish well aware of his three-point power. Gets down to the free throw line and manages to get a shot off right on the shot clock buzzer. The offensive rebound from Kavanagh. That shot clock had gone off, or possibly there's a player out of bounds there since they did start from the baseline. Playing off and running. It's Zazuela drawing the contact and making the basket. Australia looks a little in early morning mode. Campbell, just a little after 8 a.m. here in Australia on the East Coast.
Yeah, it's just a little bit more quiet than you'd potentially expect. Obviously, they're not necessarily running the lineup that they would run normally as a starting five. Potentially, that's just not quite setting the pace that they need to.
Ortega, Australia turn it over again. Ortega with the one-hand elevator pass. Can't get that to go. Kavanagh the rebound and the push. He's picked up. Frank Pender with the screen. Ball back to Knowles. He rolls into a three, but that's pretty much where his shooting was yesterday. Just having a dry patch at the moment. O'Neill-Thorne, shot clock running down, forced to retreat back to Knowles. He tries to launch a three, but another shot clock violation for Australia.
This is that suffocating defense from the Spanish side that's always been a thorn in the side of the Rollers. It's just so much pressure, forcing those outside shots. We know that Tom O'Neill-Thorne is a very consistent three-point shooter, but I think the Spanish might have been watching the game yesterday and saw that that was going to be the way the Rollers look to respond, and they've just covered him on every single offense.
Brad Ness has seen enough. Anyway, he's called a timeout for Australia. He's probably saying, hang on, let's start again. Because it did not appear that the instructions they had at the start of the game have been able to be carried out. But it is a difficult thing from a time zone point of view. These teams have played 2 games yesterday. The physical demands of doing that, backing up, particularly for the Spanish team, just rusted night of sleep. They're on the road. And then you're asked to be ready to play a little after 8 a.m. in the morning in a city that's in the midst of winter. Yeah, I was going to say, Campbell, it's tricky.
And you've also got to consider that these 4 teams are some of the most fast-paced teams that you'll see on the world stage. They all like to play long minutes and committed minutes. So it's you see the pace kind of die out, particularly in that third quarter, and then they start to bring it back in the fourth to end really strong. But it's a high demand for all of these teams.
Rozuela runs the screen and roll expertly there with Kristen, who finishes with the left hand. Main with the only 3 scores of the game. Knowles looking to drive. Pinder just floating in front of him. Knowles is now cut off. Picks up his dribble again. Tries to reset. Pinder desperately trying to jam a screen. Ball gets through to Kavanagh off the underside of the rim. Ortega on Rubia. Kicks middle, Ortega. Fantastic behind the back. Well, he released the shot from behind his back and then pleaded with the official for a foul. Meantime, there's a player down on the floor. Spanish coach carry on onto the floor. Campbell, you mentioned yesterday, one of many methods of getting upright.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways that players can fall, especially considering that you have a lot of different disabilities sitting in their chairs, their heights as well. Every player slowly learns their way of getting up and the way that they like to do it. That one particularly is my personal least favorite. That style of just hoping that someone is going to pick you up by both arms. It can't be a nice feeling on the shoulders.
O'Neill Thorne spies a lane, drives in, fantastic hands. Block that shot back to Tom O'Neill Thorne. Shot clock running down. Poor old Luke Popel just on the floor, got left with it. I've seen Spain in their 2 earlier games go through periods where they went almost to what the Australians would call walkabout. But they look completely locked in here this morning. Ortega drives middle. Finds his way to a fantastic shooting spot, draws some contact. Such a calm presence there. Spain content not to put any of their players in the free throw lane. Ortega does the business on the second. O'Neill Thorne pushing. He really picked him up. Layups off. Spain off and running again. A pinpoint pass. Ortega will be disappointed he couldn't get hold of that. Ball catches one of Kristen's hands and goes out of bounds. Ethan Laird, who only played one of yesterday's 2 games on the floor for Australia. Along with Popel, O'Neill, Thorne, the guard spots. Tristan Knowles, really a 4-guard lineup almost. Ball back to Spain. Ortega, Zazuela. Officials just want to take that and restart again.
The Rollers really just getting absolutely suffocated on that offensive end. They're doing strong enough in the defensive side. Obviously, Ortega is a fantastic inside shooter, and once he gets to that paint, he's going to be almost automatic. But really, just not able to find anything. Jake Kavanaugh being a little bit quiet with his shooting, and really just needing a quick, easy score to kind of settle the nerves.
Zazuela comes back there to take the pass from Rubia. He gets it back. Gets the screen from Ortega. That was moving. I think he knew. He remonstrates with the ref in the most delightful fashion. A lot of hand gestures. But I think he knew that one was not kosher. A bit of jamming action there. And Rubia pinned in. Spanish defender. Australia off and running. Evans, the screen and the slip. Laird, his 3 almost goes down. Another player on the deck. Ethan Laird. Pops up. A bit of push and shove on the sideline. Jockeying for positions. Ball's in. Rubia has it for Spain. A little over 5 minutes in, they lead 9-0. Ortega goes glass. So calmly. O'Neill Thorne to Knowles. Let's see what Australia can come up with this time. Laird almost dared to shoot that 3 again. Wheels around. He will. Short. Gets after his own rebound. Inside to Knowles. He's in traffic. Draws some contact.
Potentially this is the chance for the Rollers just to get something on the board. Just get that little bit of momentum. They don't really let up their momentum even on the offensive side when they're not getting anything to go. They play that pace. They play their style. But really just needing a reward, a little bit of something to feel good about.
Yeah, I can't think of many times we've seen the Australian Rollers go 6 minutes without scoring. Tristan Knowles redresses that. Good with the second. A couple of substitutions. Spain roll the ball up on Rubia. Kicks ahead. He's got a one-on-one, and it's extraordinarily difficult to cover Ortega one-on-one. Moncrief found himself pinned there. Popel. Back to O'Neill Thorne. Probes. Throws a hotly contested pass inside. You can hear the Spanish bench in the background there. Very enthused about matters at the moment. Just 9 seconds on the shot clock for Australia here to manufacture something. There it is, Popel. I don't know if he was almost forced into that shot given the time situation, but it was sweet. Bain turn it over now. Popel with the ball. No look pass from Thorne, gets it back. Brilliant pass inside.
I really like this change up from the Rollers to put Ben Moncrief on. Have a little bit more height, a little bit more power in the paint, especially on the defensive side, kind of challenging Ortega, who's been pretty much free for the last couple minutes. But I like that swap to kind of give the momentum back to the Rollers.
Right on cue, Ortega goes boom from 3. Rollers making plans to stop him getting into the keyway and downloads from the perimeter. Laird with it now. Australia trailing by 9. The last portion of the first quarter. Moncrief inside. No look pass from Thorne again. Tyndall can't get it to go this time. Prieto, coast to coast. Contact. Finish. One of the obviously popular members of their team.
That's actually real credit to Onrubia setting almost a perfect screen there, allowing him to come flying through, just setting almost the easiest of layups.
Exaggerated breath before that free throw from Prieto. Fortunately, it's the straight. O'Neill Thorne slaloms down the court, picked up. Off to Popel, whose 3-point attempt is off. On Rubia. Here's Ortega. Sets another block. On Rubia manages to go baseline. Puts a little bit of English on it. Can't get it to go. Back to Ortega. On Rubia. Caught between the glass and straight on there. Misses that long 2. Popel spies a lane. Once he felt the contact, just let the shot go expertly. Zarzuela assessed with that foul.
This is really how the Rollers are going to need to play into Spain. We know that Spain like to play with their contact, like to play a little bit aggressive. They've already shown a little bit that they're a little bit annoyed with how the referees are calling contact. And if the Rollers can kind of play into that, get to the free throw line a few times, and just get that score a little bit higher.
Purple's good on the first. I think that's part of the Spanish way, Campbell. They always seem to be playing on the edge of something. But they don't seem to get as bothered by emotional highs and lows. Australia trailing by 9. Prieto with the ball for Spain. Cross-court pass. Ortega felt the contact again. He's so clever. Ethan Laird's blowing up. He can't believe that either he got suckered into that or Ortega semi-created the contact. Good on the second. Couple more substitutions.
That's a risky position for the Rollers. Ethan Laird, that's his 3rd foul already. And he's a valuable low point player because he opens up the rotations that the Rollers can run. That's not a position that he wants to be in.
Shots up and in, boom. Really sort of came from nowhere there. Play down in the middle of the floor. Couple, in fact. In fact, the Spanish team are going to have a chat about things just within sight of quarter time. Maybe feeling the momentum is slipping away a fraction, or they're about to go into one of their periods of, shall I say, inactivity.
Yeah, I don't know if it's whether it's the momentum shifting or just their mindset kind of shifting a little bit, getting a little bit annoyed with how the game's kind of playing out. And the Rollers really converting from the free throw line, and that is a dangerous thing for the Spanish. They know that they like to play with their fouls. I imagine they're of the school of thought that is, you have 5 fouls, so use them. And the Rollers really capitalizing on that early, and that's kind of what's put them back in position.
Yeah, the purple three-pointer, the previous possession for Australia. Then the clumsy Spanish turnover. Players on the deck. I do like the fact, Campbell, and for the spectators here at the venue, the Spanish chairs have the number hanging down behind the chair. Just another way when you get, particularly amongst a crush of chairs where there's a screening action or rebounding contest, for everybody to identify who's who. Evans gets inside for a layup there, but Spain off and running. Garcia and Gelmo with the pass there. Exchange of passing, finishes up inside. Zazuela can't finish. Spain need to find somebody to inbound the ball. Cabo will do that job. Ball gets back to the talisman who snuck onto the floor. Ruiz, but right on the point of quarter time, just a fraction of a second in front of the buzzer, he nails another one. And that leaves Spain leading by 8 as we head to a break.
Get what you really want with the new look Ford Ranger Wild Track. With its power roller shutter, stunning matrix LEDs, and premium B&O 10-speaker sound system. And you'll also get a 4K fuel card. That's 4K to take you on even bigger adventures. Available at your participating Ford dealer now.
What's up everyone, Jalen Brown here. I'm currently over in Turkey for the 25-26 Turkish League. I'm excited to get back and kick off this new era of wheelchair basketball with you all. The 2026 season is going to be something special. Make sure you're following along here for updates while I'm overseas.
Welcome back to the AUS Centre of Excellence in Canberra, Australia. Day 2 of the Rollers against the World Challenge. We're just coming back into play after quarter time. Spain 22 leading Australia 14, and it's only a small sample size, but already Australia's dependence on the three-point shot. They're 1 of 5 to this point. Spain have just taken the singular three-point attempt. That was part of Ortega's 14-point haul in the first quarter. Ignacio Ortega. Tom O'Neill-Thorne just waiting for the action to get underway. The referee's just checking the clocks. Australia with the ball in the green. And to the right of your picture, Luke Popel with the ball now. Uses the Tyndall screen. A bit of his own magic there, weaving the ball in and out. Spain look to push. Garcia and Gelmo. Ball off to Cabo. He likes the look of that shot. Got our first wedgie of the tournament. Everybody looks around. Who's going to get that? Surely find another ball in a second and knock it down.
It's one of the struggles of the wheelchair basketball game. You don't have a player to just jump up and grab the ball. They're kind of at the whims of the team.
Tom O'Neill-Thorne gives it back to the referee. A few sarcastic cheers. She knocks it into the hoop. Kathy Hay. We're back underway. Ruiz for Spain. He's really been sublime in these first two games. That shot's off. O'Neill-Thorne. It's the screen from Evans. This creates a little window, enough to get the ball to Moncrief at the free throw line. He can't make that go. Does manage to jam the outlet for Spain. Ruiz, nice and high. They get it over the timeline. Cabo back to Ruiz. Ruiz gets the handoff back. He goes straight back inside. Zazuela running a little two-man action there. Purple, Australia's leading scorer to this point, 8 points. Moncrief inside. Lovely touch pass. Finish. Tricky one for Tyndall there. Hands all around him. His lower position in the chair, but he manages to draw some contact and will head to the free throw line. One of two there for Jeremy Tyndall. Baseball pass. Goes awry. Moncrief comes up with it for Australia. Popel pushing. There's a bit of contact there. No call at the moment. No look pass. Fantastic. Finds its way to Moncrief. His shot short again. Just hasn't got his radar right yet. Lavandiera onto Ruiz. Probing. Never really in a hurry. Kicks middle, ball reverses to Cabo. Back to Ruiz. Calmly rolls back in his chair. And whilst rolling back, nails the elbow shot.
That was almost a reflection of copying the style that the Australians tried to pull off there. Ben Moncrief trying to get that roll back and bank shot. And Spain just showing them how it's done.
Purple throws it away. Ruiz, the steal. Garcia and Gelmo saw a wheel poking out at the wrong angle. Headed straight for it and ran over it. Draws the foul. Australians making 4 substitutions there. I did a little bit of this yesterday, 4 or 5 at a time. Frank Hinder back on, along with Tristan Knowles. Ball's in. Can't leave that man open. Just a simple skip pass. Maybe because of the substitutions, Australia caught unaware, but he was already being screened as the ball was inbounded. O'Neill Thorne. Boom. Been waiting a while to say that. A much needed 3-pointer. Spain pushes. What an exquisite pass. Shame that Zarzuela couldn't finish. Ruiz hit him right on the roll. Miles flicks a no-look pass of his own, but it's a no-look to no person. And Garcia and Gelmo makes Australia pay. The raucous cheering from the Spanish bench continues in the background. It's got a nice rhythm to it. Knowles drives middle. It's something seen that wasn't right with the screening action on the weak side of the floor, and now there's another foul. Or is it just a stop in play? I think it's the initial foul. Australia thought it was going to be their ball, I presume, because they've all 3 of them have headed the wrong direction. Spain, in a comedy of their own, have managed to put the ball on the ground and turn it over. Almost headed directly towards the only Australian defender that was back there. Australia inbounds. Knowles, familiar check of the seams. Drives middle. Comfortable range for Tristan Knowles. Ruiz in the front court. Picked up by Knowles. Takes another dribble. Scat surveys the floor. Finds a cutter. Cabo. Garcia and Gelmo. Ball back to Zarzuela. He leans back, gives the subtlest of hesitations, which forced Tom Klein to lunge just a little too far and foul him.
That's one of the most frustrating fouls that you can get with a player just doing that little rollback, and you're trying to defend them. You want to stay on them as they're kind of getting a little bit of range. And you've really got to play close with that contact.
Zarzuela does the business from the free throw line. Couple more substitutions onto the floor. Spanish content to sit back defensively on this possession. Knowles allowed to roam into a 3. Boom, he makes that go. It's probably a reasonable presumption based on the scouting report of the first 2 days with Tristan Knowles, but certainly based on his career, we know that's a shot that he can make. Ball inside, Spanish dominating in the interior exchanges.
Yeah, we're seeing that a lot with Ben Moncrief not being on at the moment. Spanish able to just get inside and be pretty consistent inside the paint. They have kind of no pressure. Tom Klein sits pretty tall, but he doesn't quite have the reach and the lean that Ben Moncrief does.
Yeah, Tom Klein had carriage of Ruiz there, which allowed Garcia and Gelmo to look like a giant in the paint. Anyway, ball back with Australia. The three-point attempt deflected from Garcia and Gelmo. Lavandiera. Ruiz. Expert touch on the way through. Ball finishes back with Garcia and Gelmo. A couple of fakes. There's a little roundhouse shot. Finds the mark. Spain careering away to a 13-point advantage. Knowles. Picked up at the three-point line this time. Goes middle. Ruiz crashes into him.
That's just a quick moment of exactly what Tristan Knowles really does, and really hasn't shown off too much in the last couple games. But that quick drive and that kind of, he was looking like he might post up, and then dropping his head and driving. It's one of his key moves that he pulls off.
Knowles makes the first. We also got to look at the heading skills of Ruiz. As that ball came through the basket, he headed it straight back to the official. The World Cup coming up in less than a week. Spain, one of the leading contenders there. Australia, one of the hope-to-be contenders. The World Cup football, that is. Soccer, as it's often called in Australia. Anyway, back to the matters at hand, wheelchair basketball. Garcia and Gelmo drives baseline. Lovely little screen and roll. Carbo finishes for Spain. Biel Carbo has been very industrious this little stint on the floor. Screening, rolling. Managed to find a couple of shooting opportunities. Australia fumbled the ball in the paint. Knowles felt some contact. Did his best magician impersonation. Just heaved the ball up on the turn. Do you think he knew where the basket was there, Campbell?
I think he probably had a general direction as much as anything, but I think that was more a product of seeing the defense coming flying in and just having to throw something up and pretend that he was shooting.
Yeah. He was facing the sideline, so we're not going to give him a full Giorgetti yet. Giorgetti, of course, one of the stars of the Italian team, who's enthralled us with his magic and creative shooting techniques. A lethal scorer at this level. He set a standard that others can only aspire to at this stage. Spain with the ball. And the 12-point advantage. That's a wayward long attempt. The shot clock was almost expired, so possibly we can excuse that.
That was far more like what you'd expect of the Rollers defense, playing that really high line and setting up, being quick on that defense and really controlling the pace of the offense that Spain can try and run, forcing them into a three. We know that the Rollers love their threes, and all the other teams so far have looked like they're comfortable taking a three, but it's not the option that they want to.
And the Spanish had called the timeout there. I don't think the bench had picked up on it. They were looking at the bench, and when the bench didn't respond, they just started walking onto the floor en masse from their bench. And the officials quickly realised what was happening and have allowed them to have a 60-second discussion. Head coach Carry-On's got the whiteboard out. I'd have to be pretty happy with matters, a 12-point lead, and there really hasn't been a letdown from them.
they've slowed down just the slightest bit in this past couple plays, where the defense of the Rollers is really kicking in, and I suspect that that Spain's conversation was very much offensive style. As, their defense has been suffocating, and they'd be pretty happy with that. But potentially looking at a few options and kind of recalling the play that they just missed out on, and potentially setting up something to give them a more fluid option.
Tom O'Neill-Thorne inbounding the ball to Knowles, just having a discussion of their own there, out of that timeout. What they've got in store in this possession. Just 2.5 minutes remaining, first half. It's game number 5 of 16 games at the Rollers against the World Challenge in the AUS Centre of Excellence in Canberra. Knowles, wayward three-point shot, but he knew that as soon as he released it. Zoomed after his own rebound. Saw a defender out of position. Leaned in and just put up a hopeful layup, which fell short, but he will go to the free throw line.
And that's one of those shots. This is kind of what separates this level, is putting up that shot and not watching the ball. You know that you've taken the shot; it's in the air. There's nothing you can do now. But what you can do is recover and get that rebound, and that's something that the Spanish have done extremely well so far, is covering those rebounds, and the Rollers really looking to answer that finally.
You can almost feel Tristan Knowles just rolling back into form a little bit, just these last few minutes. He's perfect from the free throw line. Cabo. Across to Ruiz, sees it cutting Garcia and Gelmo. Tom O'Neill-Thorne concedes that he had fouled him on the cut. That's the 4th team foul for Australia this quarter. They trail by 10. Ruiz catches, drives middle, looks past, thinks shot, leans in and out. Can't get it to go. Knowles the rebound. He's held up in the backcourt. Ruiz comes. Frank Pinder. Off to O'Neill-Thorne. Back to Knowles. Drives, cut off. Ball poked away. Out of Bandera. Shot clock is Byron. Pinder gets something up. Manages to get a hand on the rebound. Jake Kavanagh sailing down the lane. Gets it. He's disappointed he missed the shot, but did draw some contact again. And Australia will head back to the free throw line. Kavanagh converts both those. The Australians eat a little further into that lead. Back now to just 8. Garcia and Gelmo. Drives middle, passes to a player who's already lying prone on the floor. It's Ruiz. Doing only Ruiz things. Of course, he caught that ball, even though he's lying on his back. Gets himself up. Tom O'Neill-Thorne lending a hand with some of the equipment. Spanish bench with a bit of input. Everybody taking the opportunity to have some type of conversation. Brad Ness, the Australian head coach there, with Tristan Knowles, Blaine Kraplinov, one of the officials. Ruiz gets us going again. Bit of shot clock pressure here. Garcia Jomo drives baseline. Ruiz somehow reels that pass in way out to his left. Kicks to Cabo. He got left with not much to do with the shot clock expiring and a defender in his face. What do they call that, Campbell? You've been throwing the dynamite. The fuse is just about gone.
That's exactly what you'd hope for from the Rollers in their defensive side. To be really suffocating, controlling that ball, and really just forcing a shot that was never going to go.
Frank Pinder is the roller. Gets a great pass from Tom O'Neill Thorne. Scores. It's an offensive foul. And Spain, the players are not too happy, and the coach is definitely not happy. Just a couple of possessions remaining in this first half. Australia's done an excellent job to drag back what was a 13 or 14 point lead back to 6. Tristan Knowles looks inside. Finds Klein. He manages to shoot on the swivel. Spain can use almost all of the time remaining. A 2 or 3 second differential. Things getting a little testy. Australia committing a foul on the way back down the floor there, disputing that. That'll be their 5th team foul either way. And after 5 team fouls, of course, results in 2 free throw attempts.
I like that moment of hearing Brad Ness calling out Tom, and then Tom Klein looking over and pointing at himself as if, which one are we talking to? Because there are two Toms on the floor, so I can't imagine it's an easy thing.
Pablo Lavandiera able to get either of those free throws to go. Australia with a chance for the last shot of the half. Lovely exchange of passing again. Klein. Nothing for Spain to do there. So a rollicking finish from Australia sees them trail by just 2 points as we head into the halftime break. And we will be back shortly.
Get what you really want with the all-new Ford Everest Active 4x4. Value packed with 12-inch touchscreen, black exterior styling and 18-inch alloys. All from just $60,000 drive away. Get the Everest Active at participating Ford dealers.
I was really lucky to cross paths with wheelchair basketball when I was 15 years old. I fell in love with the sport.
I was doing horse riding and I wanted to play a team sport, and my mum came across wheelchair basketball and I just grew to love it. My muscles have grown stronger, so I'm able to do a lot more things now because of basketball. Yeah, it just helped me a lot in life. I would love to play at the Brisbane 2032 Paralympics. and represent the country.
I wasn't 21 until I made my first Australian team, so you've got plenty of time. The most important thing is that you just enjoy your basketball.
By rolling out the start line, we want to build a framework where anyone that wants to become involved in parasport can find and navigate their way through to the opportunity that's local, that suits their needs.
Parasport's the best. You meet people that are just like you.
Times can be really, really tough. You're going to have some really, really frustrating days. It's okay to ask for help, but I promise you things do get better, and Paralympic sport can play a huge role in that.
Have a go. When we move out of our comfort zone, we surprise ourselves.
Not in my wildest dreams did I imagine that direction my life has taken, and I'm extremely thankful for it.
Just try it. You'll just grow to love it, and you could probably play for your country.
Hey everyone, I'm Tommy Thorne. Tune in this weekend as the rollers take on the world.
Get what you really want with the all-new Ford Ranger Wolf Track V6, featuring bold styling, 17-inch alloys and all-terrain tyres, all from just $73,000 drive away. Ranger Wolf Track at participating Ford dealers while stocks last.
Welcome to this very special occasion, a celebration of the 2000 Australian Paralympic team.
It's so great just for everyone to come together and reminisce, and it's like a massive reunion.
To be here with everyone's just so special. It makes me almost cry with joy.
So wonderful to be back here after 25 years. So many people that got to share such unforgettable memories because it was the first time we had the Paralympic Games in Australia.
We all have a bond that can't be broken because we all experience something that is a part of our lives.
All of what we're here for, we have to develop the athletes, the kids with disabilities, to believe that they can achieve.
Sydney 2000 showed that the Paralympic Games can be as good as a host city chooses to make them. It filled stadiums, it filled arenas. It set the benchmark for the athlete experience.
Sydney 2000 changed everything. Let's just take the Paralympic movement to a place where it had never been before.
People with disabilities can, and I think Sydney said to us, we can.
Australia changed the face of Paralympic sport forever, and I couldn't be prouder.
My favourite memory from the Sydney 2000 Paralympic Games was actually carrying the torch into the stadium for the opening ceremony of the Games. Before I was about to carry the torch, there was going to be 2.2 billion television viewers.
The advice to the athletes is seize all the opportunity you have. The athletes that assembled here today are an example of the hard work and the legacy that can be left by a group that's come well before you. The best way that you can honour, respect and thank the past is to make sure you take care of the future by working hard and embracing every opportunity that you have at the moment.
What's up everyone, Jalen Brown here. I'm currently over in Turkey for the 25-26 Turkish League. I'm excited to get back and kick off this new era of wheelchair basketball with you all. The 2026 season is going to be something special. Make sure you're following along here for updates while I'm overseas.
Get what you really want with the value-packed Ford Ranger Black Edition 4x4 with bedliner, 12-inch touchscreen, 17-inch alloys and all-terrain tyres, all from just $53,000 drive away. Get the Ranger Black Edition at participating Ford dealers.
Wheelchair basketball emerged shortly after World War II after it was developed by injured servicemen. It became a foundation Paralympic sport at the 1960 Games and is now one of the world's most recognisable wheelchair sports. Athletes who play wheelchair basketball have a physical impairment. All players use a wheelchair to compete, although some don't use a wheelchair in everyday life. The court dimensions and basket height for wheelchair basketball are the same as the able-bodied version of the sport, as is the playing time and number of players on court. Wheelchair basketball classifications range between 1 and 4.5 points. Players with a classification of 1.0 have the highest level of impairment, while players in the 4.5 point class have the highest level of physical function to be eligible for the sport. The wheelchairs used during a game are specially designed to support players and help them move around the court. During a match, the classifications of the 5 players on the court are added together and must reach a total of no more than 14 points. The object of the game is to score the most points in the opposing team's basket. The team with the most points by the time the clock expires wins. Wheelchair basketball is a contact sport. The sport is so fast that it can be difficult for athletes to stop in time, meaning contact is inevitable and can result in some spectacular collisions. While contact is permitted and even encouraged, head-on collisions are strictly forbidden and can result in fouls or even ejection from the game. For more information on wheelchair basketball, visit paralympic.org.au.
Back to the AUS Centre of Excellence in Canberra, Australia. Some highlights from the first half of this clash between Spain and Australia on day 2 of the Rollers against the World Challenge. It was all Spain for most of the first half, Campbell, bar the last 4 minutes where Australia put on a 13-2 run to drag things back.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially that start early in the first quarter. Australia just really looking like they couldn't find anything. They couldn't quite find their line. Finally relying on a couple of their more consistent shooters just to get a couple points up and get that pace back. And as you said, moving into that second quarter, really getting their momentum running. And the fouls kind of getting the better of Spain a little bit and potentially just getting a little bit frustrated with that. They know that they like to play that way, but it is frustrating when certain players keep collecting them. Vilas has collected 3 at this point, and a couple other players sitting on 2. But also as the Australian Rollers coming up with the same issue. Ethan Laird has collected 3, and Tom O'Neill-Thorne, who's played 20 minutes so far, is also sitting on 3. And that's not a position that they want to be in.
And as we look at the numbers there, familiar pattern, Spain with 15 2-point makes to Australia's 7. But Australia, again, leaning on the 3-point shot, as they want to do, have converted 4 of those and found a way to get 13 free throw points to Spain's 5. So whilst the rest of the statistics are pretty much in line, it's just that, again, that different stylistic approach to how do we find our points.
We've seen that a lot from the Rollers so far across the other 2 games that they've played, that a lot of the statistics will look pretty close, and then it is just those 3-point shots and the free throws. Australia likes to put up their threes and also look for a rebound and kind of draw a foul in there and get to the line as much as they can. So it's very much a similar play style outside of that offense, but that offense does kind of change up for the Rollers, and it's really a question of how the opposition answers. And Spain have tended to find a way to control it and really force it into 3-point shooters that Australia doesn't necessarily want taking that shot.
Right, play underway. On Rubio with the ball for Spain in the white uniforms with the gold numbering and trim. And Ortega, Ignacio Ortega, who had 14 points in the first quarter. Didn't trouble the scorers and only playing a couple of minutes in the second quarter, but straight back on track. Neil Thorne with the ball for Australia. They're, of course, in the green and gold. Right and left of your screen. And Tom Klein. And Burks again, he found his way to make a couple of crucial layups at the end of the first half. Ortega now. Shadowed by O'Neill Thorne. Gives to Onrubia. Fantastic touch pass inside to Prieto. O'Neill Thorne doing the primary ball handling duties. His running mate Knowles on the weak side of the floor has the ball now. Looks at a three. Boom. We had a hunch in the first half that he was starting to find his rhythm, and confirmation there. Frank Pinder dumps on Rubia out of his chair, picks up the foul. Ortega left all alone. Takes a long two, snavels his own rebound. Baseline drive, ball skipped to Kristen. Can't make the shot go. And Neil Thorne gets hold of the rebound. Just a break in play. Frank Pinder on the floor. He pops up. They're just trailing by one. Knowles feeling it. A little to the left on that three-point attempt and raced after it, but the ball beat him out of bounds. Runs in a bit of a jam, trying to get himself back into position. Little chair convention down in the corner. Ball's in. Prieto will look to push it ahead. I think if there's a numerical advantage for Spain. Vazuela. Kristen is temporarily out of his chair.
Knowles just getting a little bit animated about that, knowing that the player had gone down and the play was moving over. I think he wanted that call to come a little bit earlier. That the player had gone down as the ball was coming over. But obviously player's not in too much danger, and referee's being very aware of players falling.
Ortega, Prieto, lovely pass inside to Kristen. He started screening and just slipped. The pass was right on the money from Prieto. Evans, Knowles, Ethan Laird back on the floor with his three fouls. Cans a three straight away. And Rubia looking for Prieto. Pass cut out.
I really like this decision from the Rollers to play a little bit more of a strong defense and kind of put that pressure on and really play towards their strength in that speed that they have, and just get Spain a little bit on edge and a little bit uncomfortable.
Ortega drives middle. Does a reasonable impersonation of a magic shot there, off balance, being bumped. Heading towards the slider, but he was facing the basket, so declare that ineligible to Australia. On transition, Pinder did everything but finish. On Rubia, Pinder skates hard to get in front of him. Exchange of passing, Prieto. There's his own pass fake, his shot short. somehow gets hold of the rebound, wheels around under the basket, can't make it go. Another offensive rebound, and makes it. Knowles now for Australia. Find themselves down 4. There's almost a deliberate foul there. Stop the play. Kristen, the transgressor. In fact, we're going to have another timeout. The coach is quite happy to liberally use their timeouts at this quasi-tournament exhibition event. Chance to roll through their rotations. Spain have steadied their 4-point lead, but the contrast in style is never more evident, Campbell, with Australia coming out courtesy of 3 3-point attempts.
Yeah, absolutely. This is way more what you'd expect of the Rollers, the way that they like to play, and really the strength of their bench is that ability to play kind of faster pace, stronger, and also with Ben Moncrief on, they do have that reliability inside the paint to kind of control that play. We saw before Ortega and Prieto also getting pressured a lot by Ben Moncrief inside the paint. Obviously, they've still been able to convert Spain, but that pressure and that control that the Rollers are putting on really kind of bring back this game. We started with quite the lead by Spain, and Australia really just slowly bringing it back. Also credit to Tom Klein. He's not on at the moment, but his ability to shoot and convert under the basket, he's very quiet, he's very consistent, but he hasn't missed a shot yet.
Yeah, Tristan Knowles, Australia's leading scorer, 15. Ortega for Spain, with 18 is the game's leading scorer. And while Knowles was driving across, Ben Moncrief out of his chair. He's, I think, setting a flare screen or trying to seal inside. Ethan led. Cut off by Rubia. Shot clock was expiring. He launched a really off-balance one. He's come out of his chair. Spain looked to have a numerical advantage in transition, but the officials have stopped play. On Rubia with the ball for Spain now. Ortega, I think it's 3. Shot fake, drives baseline, back to Rubia. He's guarded by Laird. Back to Ortega. Just the ball just seems to nestle in off the glass. He's on the 45. Laird goes middle, finds a pass, layup doesn't go. And Rubia's off and rolling. Tristan Knowles unceremoniously dumps Ortega out of his chair. There's the roll-away acknowledgement of the foul. But that was always going to be assessed as unsportsmanlike, I think, Campbell.
Yeah, absolutely. It was off-ball, fast-paced environment. There's almost no getting away with that, and I think Tristan Knowles was pretty aware of that one. He was putting his head down as if he knows what he's done. He's accepting it, and potentially that's just a little bit of the frustration. Ortega's been almost unstoppable. He's shooting at 80% at the moment, and the Australians really just not having an answer to him.
Yeah, he's up to 22 points now. Tristan gets us underway for Spain. There is that man Ortega. Snaps a beautiful pass down to the corner. And Rubia couldn't get that shot to go. Ethan Laird rolling around. Draws some contact from Ortega. He almost gets sideways in his chair, Ethan Laird, when he's moving at pace.
He's a relatively low point player, and the way that he sits in his chair, he has not too much core control, so he very much swings his weight around, and he's slowly learnt to use that to his own advantage, and his fluidity in his movement is quite impressive.
Then Moncrief thought he saw a passing lane, but Prieto was right in the middle of it. Prieto sails the other way, makes the layup. A couple of nice stealing screens there. There's Ethan Laird wheeling, dealing, finds Knowles. He's fouled. Coach Carry-On is incredulous in the nicest possible way. Officials have done a good job remaining calm. Both teams have had their moments of agitation.
This is very much the stressor that Spain got into in their game against Japan. Heading into that second half, they had a few too many fouls, got to get a little bit flustered. Potentially that's what's going to look like here for the Rollers to capitalise on that contention and that heat.
Laird's three-point shot is off. Ball finds its way to that magnetic scorer, Ortega. Knowles goes middle. Finds Moncrief. Sort of a little off balance with that shot, can't get it to go. On Rubia. Flick pass. Guess who? Ortega. Not content with the foul, with the shot, he's convinced that Phil Evans fouled him. No call. He's a wrecking ball at the moment. Laird with the ball. Moncrief out of his chair again. Tom O'Neill-Thorne rolls back on for Australia. And with Tom Klein. Almost in the blink of an eye, Ortega has single-handedly pushed this lead back out to 14. Laird has time to measure that three. There's everything but fall. And Rubia, in the way in his chair. Runs into Thorne, ball's loose. It's all Australia, but they just can't get there before it trickles out of bounds. More players on the floor. Kristen this time for Spain. Discussions. It's all happening.
I think Tom O'Neill-Thorne trying to argue that the Spanish had control of the ball and the ball never turned over to the Rollers. So would it be considered an 8-second violation? I think that contention and that little tap around was enough to say that no.
Zazuela with the ball for Spain, and Ortega just cuts completely naked. Australia really losing their equilibrium a little bit here. Possibly the Spanish a little more comfortable playing in such a fluid, emotional environment. As Moncrief gets inside. But Zarzuela, left wide open transition. Spanish bench in full voice. I think this is fantastic. Pender. Tom Kyle, waiting for some troops to get down the floor. O'Neill Thorne. And kept pretty quiet. Great passing exchange. Laird finishes the pass from Moncrief. Rubia just started rolling over the line there and realised the pass he was about to throw was not actually open and wheeled back. I think he looked around immediately to see if the ref had seen what was happening or whether she was looking further down the floor. But sadly for him, she was just pointing at the line and saying, "You've transgressed."
I think that's going to be the story of Spain in this potentially towards the end of this game, is just whether there's a couple things that they can pull off, whether they can get away with a couple things and really keep this advantage. We know that they're sitting quite strong at the moment, but they are playing a little bit of a dangerous game, both with the fouls that they're pulling in and just the attitude that they're starting to bring out. Their coach has already received a warning for language and attitude, so potentially something that they really need to rein in heading into the third quarter break.
Yeah, we saw the rebound statistic bob up in the bottom of the screen there. What was an almost equal count at halftime is now Spain ahead by 10, which matches their scoring dominance in this quarter, 24-12. They've almost just caught fire. Ortega up to 28 points. Australia with the two younger big players on the floor, Kyle and Moncrief. Ethan Laird wheels around. Back to Tom O'Neill Thorne. Drives middle, finds Frank Pinder, can't finish. Story of the quarter for Australia. Kristen with the ball for Spain. Zarzuela gets a pass ahead. O'Neill Thorne picks it off. Moncrief scans the floor looking for nationally a ball handler, I think. Finds one. Tom O'Neill Thorne. Another foul detected. Ethan Laird down again.
I really like this rotation from the rollers. Tom Klein, he sits quite tall, but he is a relatively low point player due to some of his hands, and it gives the rollers quite a lot of height and quite a lot of contention inside the paint. And we know that he's a very strong shooter alongside Ben Moncrief, because the Spanish have started to respond to Ben Moncrief and to Tom O'Neill Thorne. They're really looking at another option that the rollers can put through.
Ethan Laird rolls into a three there, a three-point attempt. Came up short. Chair compression there. Massive players in the backcourt. Looking to break away now. Ortega with the ball. Gain control. This last part of the quarter, they could have held for the last shot. Decided not to. It didn't matter. They found a way to score. As we hear the Vamos in the background. Vamos indeed. All Spain that quarter. They lead 64-48 as we head into the last quarter, and we'll be back shortly.
Get what you really want with the new look Ford Ranger Wild Track. With its power roller shutter, stunning matrix LEDs and premium B&O 10-speaker sound system. And you'll also get a 4K fuel card. That's 4K to take you on even bigger adventures. Available at your participating Ford dealer now.
Hey everyone, I'm Tommy Neil Thorne. Tune in this weekend as the rollers take on the world.
Welcome back for the final quarter of this Rollers versus the World clash between Spain and Australia. And Australia did a great job to drag things back at the half, but it's been all Spain in the third quarter. And player of the match, notionally, Ignacio Ortega has a game-high 30 points, Campbell. He's been just a whirling dervish.
Yeah, he's absolutely dominant inside the paint. He's become a bit of a problem that the Rollers really can't answer. They've looked to put in some pressure inside, bring on Ben Moncrief and Tom Klein, and they both haven't really been able to stop that. And as soon as they get any chance of stopping that, Ortega sits out on the perimeter and takes those shots and comfortably hits them. So he's whether it becomes a full court press at this point, or whether you just look to keep pressuring him and hope that the defense really kicks in.
Okay, we're underway. Australia, inauspicious start, lose that first possession. Ortega with the ball, his chair almost slipped out from underneath him there. There's a couple of players on the ground. Play being allowed to continue. Tom Klein runs his hand through his hair. Can't believe he missed that, but he will go to the free throw line. Tom favouring the youthful hairstyle, Campbell. Rather long at the back. Shorter on the sides. Ortega looking baseball pass press break there. Oh, fantastic. Left hand, Lavandera. Just kept the ball away from the defensive players. Knowles drives middle, kicks. O'Neill Thorne, his three's almost down. Ortega with the underarm. Forward pass there, but that's been picked off by Knowles. He sails ahead. Dozuela comes to guard him. O'Neill Thorne makes a nice complimentary cut. Gets the pass and the finish.
That was a beautiful little play from Tristan Knowles to pretend that he was kind of curling away from the basket, not looking for that line, and really drawing his defender out and allowing Tom O'Neill Thorne to just come flying through.
Dozuela must have thought that Tom Klein was wearing a white uniform. He just passed it straight to him. Tom O'Neill Thorne makes a layup. Spain want to talk about it.
You have to imagine at this point the Spanish are just questioning where they've gone wrong, what happened in their communication. I think it has come down to a little bit of communication with a few defenders just getting sucked into a little bit of a play by the Rollers, just being a little bit more cautious about those three-point shots that we know the Rollers are pretty comfortable with, but they've actually really moved away from in this so far in this start. And potentially looking for more inside control as the Spanish kind of overextend.
Coach carry on. He's drawing animatedly on his whiteboard. A high ratio of shoulder shrugs and gestures. There's a couple of casual turnovers. I think Spain's been the best team we've seen in terms of recalibrating from a mini meltdown.
That's one of the things that you mentioned really early on in this game. Spain, they have their moments. They come kind of up and down throughout their game, as opposed to a couple other teams that we've seen that really stay consistent. They don't necessarily have as big peaks. The Spanish really have their moments where they drop, and that's where Australia's been able to capitalise. So it'll be a question of whether Spain can bring it back in this fourth quarter and kind of keep that momentum.
And Rubia went in doubt, find Ortega. And Ignacio Ortega just calmly nails that mid-range shot. So Knowles can't get the three to go. Ortega the rebound. There he is again. Smacks a bullet pass. I think it caught the hand of both players there. O'Neill Thorne with the ball for Australia. Knowles drives middle. Cut off. Lavandera. O'Neill Thorne drives middle. Cut off. Ortega gets a hand in there. Does Whaler. Happy to pull up. Goes backwards. Finds on Rubia. On Rubia again. The lead. Ball deflected. And O'Neill Thorne a bit casual this time. Ortega just making mincemeat of the Australian defence.
That's why Ortega's really playing that high point, high post guard, really looking to capitalise on those little mistakes. And we know that he's going to be the one, if anyone, is going to hit those quick layups. He's automatic from almost every position that we've seen so far.
They've given him a bit of a roving commission defensively, just roaming from the free throw line, sometimes down into the keyway, but it's really just all come unstuck for Australia there. Zazuela just waltzes through. Brad Nance has seen enough. He's going to call a timeout now. Margin out to 19. Ortega's heading for a half century if things keep going this way. He's on 36 points.
And really, that is a product of exactly what we're seeing there. The rebounds, 18 to 36. So it's become a bit of a problem for the Rollers that even if Ortega misses the shot, if he dares to miss a shot, he will put it back, or his teammates will find it. Zazuela's picked up 9 rebounds just off those putback points, and really kind of creating a difficult problem for the Rollers that if they let up their defense at all, they know that they don't get the opportunity to bring it back down and move into their offense.
There's probably some reason for this, that the schedule of 2 games yesterday, 2 more games today, the 8 o'clock start. You would think there's inevitably going to be some peaks and troughs for teams where just the physical and mental attrition kicks in and their performance wanes.
Yeah, and it's absolutely a problem that the Rollers get into against a team like Spain, because Spain like to push them. They like to make everyone work. Their offense particularly is very fluid, and defenders do not get the chance to stay stationary for long. So it really is a war of attrition, and Spain seems to be winning.
Knowles with the ball for Australia now. Klein comes up to set a screen. Knowles looks at three, probably had to shoot that. The shot clock expiring, as you could hear in the background. But really, Australia unable to get any penetration on that offense. Venezuela for Spain. Ortega rolls backwards. The ball rolls in. It's almost like that ball knew that it was Ortega. It went in, out, rolled around, back in. Another Thorne screen and roll. Frank Pinder can't get it to go. Neither can Tom Klein, really. Point blank layups there. It's a pretty unceremonious foul from Garcia Quiles. Sailed across and took out one of the defenders.
It's a funny thing, the side of Spain, I like to kind of poke a little bit of fun at the amount of fouls that they draw, but when they need to pull it back in, they really do, and it's a credit to them that they know exactly what they're doing, they know how to control their fouls, and clearly when they're utilizing them early in the game, it's for intention, it's for pace, and really controlling the flow of the game, because they really haven't collected a lot. Lavandera's been sitting on 3 fouls for essentially the entire game and has not collected another, so that discipline is really showing itself.
It's an excellent point. The foul discipline is an essential part of every player's makeup. It's Ethan Laird, hands off to Tom O'Neill-Thorne. It's a bit of a blur screen from Moncrief, the aim to post him up. He gets it, has to kick it back out. Popel, O'Neill-Thorne for 3, boom. It's a more subdued boom this time, as Australia finds themselves in a 23-point hole. And it's been a pretty lean night for Tom O'Neill-Thorne by his lofty standards. Garcia Quiles. Ball finds its way to Ortega. This pass just a little hot for Zazuela.
It's positions like this that the Rollers really need to capitalize on. They've had a couple times where they've forced the Spanish to make awkward passes and kind of throw away their offense. And it becomes a question of the Rollers being able to just get a quick offense, get themselves settled, and really convert those opportunities.
Foul denying the baseline drive there. Garcia Quiles. Only played the 5 minutes in this contest. O'Neill-Thorne loops a pass to Moncrief. He finds Tyndall. Converts. On Rubio, kicks ahead. There's the colossus that is Ortega, taking his tally to 40 individual points. One of the consequences, Campbell, of Ortega being so dominant is that our friend Ruiz hasn't seen too many minutes tonight. He's probably quite happily ensconced on the bench.
Yeah, I think that he'd be in a position that really, if there's no reason to put him on, there's no reason to utilize him. Previously, they've utilized him really as a steadying option for the Spanish side. If they don't need it, if Ortega's going to have this incredible showing at 40 points, why wait? Why waste time and put Ruiz on when they know they've got another game later today?
Yeah, it's certainly a luxurious position to be in. So Rubio pushes the ball forward. Garcia Quiles weaves around, getting a screen from Zazuela. Sees a little baseline angle. And he finds Lavandera for the layup. Popel for Australia. Sales middle, tries to find Moncrief. Pass cut off by guess who? Ortega. On Rubia, coming the other way. Throws a hotly contested pass to Lavandera. Ortega sails middle. Throws a little floating hook pass on Rubia. Lines it up. Bobs in and out. Lavandera, the offensive rebound. Back to Ortega. Nice baseline. Back to on Rubia. Shot clock going down. And maybe the first time tonight. Ortega couldn't control that. Australia off and running. Moncrief almost the finish. Ethan Laird mops it up. And Moncrief down again. Spent a good deal of the second half on the floor. Result of a few collisions.
And that was really credit to Garcia Quiles, playing extremely strong defense there, but refusing to commit a foul. I think Ethan Laird and Ben Moncrief both kind of pushing for a foul, pushing for a little bit of contact, trying to draw him in, and just absolutely refusing. And that, again, that discipline is really showing itself.
Garcia Quiles with the backhand pass. Bouncing the ball, Ortega. Moncrief comes to guard him. Tyndall comes to help. No surprise, double. Somehow he gets around the double. Flicks the pass. Just 2 minutes remaining and 9 seconds in this possession for Spain to conjure up a shot. Ortega gets a bump from O'Neill Thorne. They exchange a bit of a joke. Just Australia's first foul in this last quarter, so no trouble with the bonus. Probably the furthest thing from their mind. Ortega trying to become facilitator now. He's turned it over a couple of times. O'Neill Thorne, skip pass. Laird tries to find O'Neill Thorne back cutting. Garcia Quiles raises his hand. And Spain are in the bonus now. O'Neill Thorne to shoot free throws. They're probably academic at this stage.
You have to imagine at this point the Rollers, as I'm sure they'll be reviewing all footage and potentially even if they look to train in between games, there'll be a lot of shooting. I imagine Brad Ness is going to put them through a lot of shooting drills.
Garcia Quiles out in the open. Gets a lovely pass for Lavandera. O'Neill Thorne. Moncrief down again. That'll be all they wrote for Garcia Quiles. After spending so long sitting on 3 fouls, he's committed 2 in the space of 20 seconds. At least I'm pretty sure the bench indicated number 17, but possibly not. Ben Moncrief misses the first, makes the second. Must have been the previous foul they didn't assess on Garcia Quiles. Seems a little peculiar, but that's the way they've assessed it. O'Neill Thorne for Australia now. Just a little over a minute remaining. O'Neill Thorne puts in his own nomination there. Feels some contact going sideways. Facing the Spanish bench, just loops something up. We'll go back to the free throw line.
That'll put 3 players currently for Spain sitting at 4 fouls. Lavandera collecting that one. Kilo sitting at 4 at the moment. And Kristen also sitting at 4. So very uncomfortable position for the Spanish side, and will really start to limit their rotations, especially as their low point players are getting a couple more fouls.
Yeah, I get the impression they've timed things almost perfectly, but they're happy to spread them around, and so they can see the finish line in sight. Garcia Killis with a lovely fake in and out. Can't make the shot and can't figure a way to get a second shot up. And commits a 3-second violation. Just 50 seconds to play out now. It's been all Spain. They've been superb in the second half. Ortega totally dominant from the scoring perspective. Didn't think we'd see a 40-point game this tournament, but with the rotations and spread of play, but we have. Vilas with the ball for Spain. He'll be happy to run some clock here. Vilas weaves around, looks for a speculative pass inside. Kristen forced to get after it. Would have been points 41 and 42 for Ortega as he pleads his case. Tom O'Neill-Thorne was on his back. Spain can pretty much take the last shot here. They can run this down. 14 seconds on the shot clock, 16 on the game clock. I don't think either team will be too fussed about doing anything drastic. And that is the case. It's going to be a matter of turn it over and shake hands, which they do. And that'll do us for Game 5. Rollers against the world. Spain much too good for Australia. 82-67. Campbell, apart from the Ortega onslaught, what other things are there to take out of this one for Australia and for Spain?
Yeah, for Australia, I think it really came down to a shooting percentage. I mean, inside the 3-point line, Spain's sitting at a 63% shot rate, and Australia almost flipping that at 37. So it's a difficult thing. They were consistent from the free throw line. They had 81%, 18 out of 22. And obviously the Spanish probably wanting to rein that in a little bit. Obviously giving away 18 points from the free throw line is not a position they want to be in. But I suspect the Australians will be just thinking they've got to get those shots back.
Yeah, 63% is a number you don't associate with the 2-point field goal percentage. There we can see the stark difference in the raw numbers. Spain, 36 successful 2-point attempts to Australia's 15. A little counterbalanced by Australia's 7 3-point makes. Spain just 1, but not really looking at that as a scoring option. And Australia getting to the free throw line and making a larger number, 19 points from the free throw line. And I don't know if I want to mention the rebounding statistic, Campbell.
So it's an unfortunate thing, and that really is a credit to Ortega and to a couple others that they just were dominant inside, especially on their offensive rebounds, really being able to put those points back if they rarely miss.
So we see a couple of highlights here of the second half. Tom Klein was a bright spark, certainly at the end of the first half and the start of the second half, but many of these will feature Ignacio Ortega, who really had a day out. Ben Moncrief tried hard, probably didn't have the most efficient game that he would want. O'Neill-Thorne came to life a little bit in the second half. But as we see there, they just throw the ball into traffic. Ortega will reel it in. and finish.
And that's the credit to Ortega, the height that he has, the strength that he has, and those insanely long arms. At some point, he just becomes unstoppable. He can collect it from wherever it lands and then be automatic in that shooting.
All right, as we see the Australians begin their post-game discussion, which I'm sure will be long and quite entertaining, we will leave you now and we'll be back later this morning with Italy against Japan. But thanks for tuning in.
Get what you really want with the new look Ford Ranger Wild Track. With its power roller shutter, stunning matrix LEDs and premium B&O 10-speaker sound system. And you'll also get a 4K fuel card. That's 4K to take you on even bigger adventures. Available at your participating Ford dealer now.
What's up everyone, Jalen Brown here. I'm currently over in Turkey for the 25-26 Turkish League. I'm excited to get back and kick off this new era of wheelchair basketball with you all. The 2026 season is going to be something special. Make sure you're following along here for updates while I'm overseas.